There is only one flag of justice and liberty in this land. It is the American flag, and it has been pulled down while new flags have been raised high. The MAGA flag. This is a flag of fascism, the flag of Christian nationalism, the inverted flag that flew above Samuel Alito's house, symbol of support for the insurrection. And this, the Appeal to Heaven flag, a perverted symbol of the American Revolution, repurposed as a declaration that there is no separation of church and state, that the election was stolen, that this extremism would manifest itself above the home of a United States Supreme Court justice is beyond shocking. It is deeply dangerous. But these flags are flags of affinity, of connection, of community, and they are flags of threat. American democracy is threatened by Samuel Alito, and it is threatened by Leonard Leo. Something that has been hiding in plain sight is starting to unravel. The fundamental issue that we all face together as Americans is an extremist movement called MAGA that seeks to upend our civilization. It seeks to dismantle it by doing a couple of things. By resetting the definition of liberty to exclude the groups and the peoples for whom liberty came late and hard, such as Black Americans, Hispanic Americans, Native Americans, and of course, women. The separation of church and state is another aim of the destruction. The destruction of the separation of church and state is another aim of the extremist movement. This flag is a symbol of insurrection and Christian nationalism. It has been stolen by political fanatics from the archives of our history, and it has been repurposed for a new time, for a new cause, and a new meaning. It is a flag that has been defiled and remade. The Appeal to Heaven flag does not celebrate the American Revolution, nor does it honor the privateers or the New Hampshire Pine Tree Rebellion. It is a symbol of domination now and of control that asserts the United States government has been occupied by an illegitimate president and that God's people, their voices have been silenced in a great conspiracy. It is a call to armed revolution and public menace. It is a show of affinity, affection, solidarity, and collaboration with the forces that attacked the United States of America on January 6, 2021, that ended the peaceful transition of power. And it is the flag that flies over the homes of a justice of the United States Supreme Court and one of his, if not his most important financial benefactor, Leonard Leo, America's most important judicial extremist, the man who is the architect of the radical court, where two corrupt justices have become totems, gigantic symbols of perfidy, dishonesty, and the collapse of the legitimacy of the court that is perfectly symbolic of the ongoing assault of the rule of law. The great invention in American history was the peaceful transition of power, which endured from 1797 until 2021, when it was killed by the menacing and brittle Trump ego that could not stand the idea that he was rejected by the will of the American people. And because of the corruption of our age, for profit in the media, for power amongst our politicians, a massive conspiracy unfolded, fueled by one of the most outrageous and outlandish lies in American history, that the loser of the election had in fact won. And the result of all of that was the ending of the tradition that flowed directly from George Washington's humility, which his old adversary, King George III, called the greatest act of this or any age when describing his old opponent as the greatest man of this or any age. All of that was washed away as the insurrectionists carried the Confederate flag across the Capitol Rotunda, and they hoisted other flags high as well. Flags of American fascism, the MAGA flag, and this flag, this symbol of Christian nationalism, this flag that represents a perversion of the American idea and ideal that claims that the birth of America was the birth of a white Christian nation where there is no possibility for equality and freedom for all. This is a lie, and it is a flag of evil. It is a flag of subjugation. It is a flag that is hostile to American democracy. And it has a cousin. It is this flag, which has been stolen from our history. Its good name has been taken away. It has been repurposed as a symbol of domination, of subjugation, of sedition and insurrection. It is a symbol of our revolution that has been made into a declaration of counter-revolution that seeks to end the American project to usher in an era of Trump, of oligarchy, where the powerful, whether they be billionaires or religious potentates or political extremists, make common cause bound together by their shared interests of self-interest. The most dangerous fusion in all of world history is that connection between power and politics and faith and religion, when man's ambition for control are married to an assertion that they are done with God's will. Evil always flows. I explained it in this documentary not so long ago. It has nothing to do with Christianity. It's about power and politics. And let's separate it from religiosity. In this country, we have freedom of religion. We're a secular nation that is built by, sustained by, and filled with people who have deep faith in God. But that's not Christian nationalism. There's a fictional work, Margaret Atwood book, called The Handmaid's Tale. That's Christian nationalism. It's man saying that this is God's law and administering it for the purposes of achieving absolute political power. And the societies that practice it, in whatever form it takes, are the most evil places on earth. We are going to talk about four men today. Justice Samuel Alito, Justice Clarence Thomas, their chief benefactor, political extremist Leonard Leo, and the Catholic prelate, the media minister, the bishop of the Ingraham, Hannity, and Fox News channel, Robert Barron, who was recently and incredibly celebrated by Fox News. There's a question that helps unlock all of the mystery around which we're about to unravel. Why did the bishop attack a Politico reporter by name, trying to intimidate her from reporting about the connections between Leonard Leo, the Supreme Court, and a powerful extremist movement? Politico's Heidi Presbala covered, through her reporting, one of the gravest threats facing the nation, which is the rise of an extremist movement that is called Christian nationalism. That's what it is. It is a Christian political extremism, and it is real. Because Heidi Presbala has reported on Leonard Leo and the extremism of his group and its financial links to Supreme Court justices, she was targeted by name by the Catholic bishop who served as Leonard Leo's political hitman. And the reward for the hit on Heidi Presbala is this cookie from Fox News declaring the prelate of the Hannity and Ingraham shows the most popular, beloved Catholic in all the world and all of America outside of the Vatican, which clearly means, though it's not said, next to Pope Francis himself, which probably isn't how most Americans think about it. When they think about Pope Francis, they don't think about Bishop Barron next. But Bishop Barron is clearly on Pope Francis's mind because he's exactly the type of conservative, political, Catholic extremist, along with Leonard Leo and Samuel Alito, that the Pope is cautioning about. All of these men come together. Leo, the bishop, Attorney General Barr, Clarence Thomas, at the annual Catholic prayer breakfast. Here is the one where the bishop delivers the sermon at the breakfast where Bill Barr is honored for being Christ-like, despite the objections of so many American Catholics, because at the exact moment Bill Barr is honored for his Christ-like sensibilities, he's reinstating federal executions with a lot of bloodlust. But I digress. What unifies and connects these men is a political project. And that political project has markers, has flags, has articles of faith that are publicly expressed. The MAGA extremist community is just that. It's a community. Fascist causes fly their flags because those flags in the end are meant to intimidate. They speak to a subjugation that is coming, a menace that is growing, a threat that is growling. There is only one flag of justice and liberty in this land. It is the American flag. And it has been pulled down while new flags have been raised high, the MAGA flag. This is a flag of fascism, the flag of Christian nationalism, the inverted flag that flew above Samuel Alito's house, symbol of support for the insurrection. And this, the Appeal to Heaven flag, a perverted symbol of the American Revolution, repurposed as a declaration that there is no separation of church and state, that the election was stolen, that God's people have been enslaved, and that armed revolution is the pathway to their liberation. That this extremism would manifest itself above the home of a United States Supreme Court justice is beyond shocking. It is deeply dangerous. But these flags are flags of affinity, of connection, of community, and they are flags of threat. American democracy is threatened by Samuel Alito, and it is threatened by Leonard Leo, and it is threatened by Bishop Barron, and it is threatened by Clarence Thomas. And they all work together as partners in the same extremist project. They are all deeply connected together by financial corruption on Alaskan fishing trips, by political corruption and insurrection, by media corruption. The flag above Leonard Leo's house is not a symbol of the United States Navy, nor is it a symbol of the New Hampshire Pine Tree Rebellion, nor is it a symbol of the anger of the colonial Americans who held great anger towards the king who regulated the harvest of pine trees so the English could have the best mass on the sailing vessels. No, it is now a symbol of subjugation and domination. It is a symbol that says Trump won when he lost, or maybe better, it's a symbol that declares no matter he lost, we say he won, and we're going to make sure he does next time, no matter what. Humility and restraint towards power is what brought the country to life. And that flag is a declaration, an unholy alliance for power that ties together the most dangerous thing that the founders worried about, the collusion between extremism and faith and religion for the purposes of political power, an official expression of faith and religion, which the founders always understood was anathematic to liberty, to American democracy. The project at hand is an extremist project, and it is becoming more perfectly clear every day because the extremists are confident enough to take to videos with their cheap demagoguery, and they're comfortable enough to fly their extremist flags. And when they get caught, they're arrogant enough to say, it's because I like Navy flags and pine trees. Laughing all the way, laughing all the way. These flags flying above the man who seated 3 Supreme Court justices on the bench, a man who has the ability to finance the opening of a new heritage foundation every year, a flag above the home of a Supreme Court justice, it is exactly what it appears to be. The fusion of politics and religion for an autocratic movement that proclaims itself God's word as it seeks to tear down the project, the experiment that has endured for nearly 250 years, that gave voice to the simplest and greatest expression of human liberty ever put to paper. All men are created equal. And now at the hour where it stands as true under the law, some are coming to burn that law just as surely as they burn the flag by raising these symbols in its stead. I'm Steve Schmidt. This is The Warning, and I invite you to subscribe on our Substack, on our YouTube channel. Follow us. Welcome to the community.